Hello and welcome to this Warcraft replay. This is going to be the first game and the first series of AWC's King of Kings Group B. Group B consists of 5 players, breaking it down to 2 humans, 2 night elves, and 1 undead. Yeah, that's it. We have a human versus undead matchup, so yeah, in the top left we have Infi spawning in as the teal human player, and in the top right we have his opponent Lucifer, the blue undead player, and yeah, that's pretty much going to be it. Looking at the build order for Lucifer, it looks like pretty much the standard ghoul opening for him. Infi doing the usual, I guess. I would assume it is going to be an Archmage versus Death Knight, because that seems to be how it usually goes. And yeah, that's pretty much gonna be what I am actually gonna say for now. Tome of Relics is being placed down. So Group B, oh wow. Forget about Group B for now. Lucifer is gonna go for a Crypt Lord as his first hero, so this is rather interesting. Okay, is this gonna... I would assume it's Mass Ghoul Crypt Lord, but I have no idea what he is actually aiming to achieve by picking this hero first. Crypt Lord, not really well seen, not that common, I guess, in the pro scene, I guess you could say. Crypt Lord has a couple of abilities. Impale is primarily its first and only ability seen. It's basically a knock-up stun type of ability, and it's, I wouldn't call it AoE, but it is more on a line than an area of effect. I guess you could still call it AoE. He has the ability to use corpses to summon beetles, which are basically just permanent summons. TP scrolls actually... what? Say, I have no idea what Lucifer is actually doing. It's rather odd. That might have been a big mistake for him. Maybe he wanted to use the Rod Necromancy, I don't know. Unfortunately, if you can't... I don't think there is any way of cancelling that TP scroll, so even if you did find a way to cancel it, I think the scroll is used up either way. So I don't know if that was a misplay or is that was just Lucifer trying to play tricks on himself. But we shall see soon enough. Infi pretty much standard, which you would expect if you have a lot of money on the line for this tournament, which unfortunately not as much as StarCraft or League of Legends, but it is still quite a lot for a Warcraft tournament. Although I can't remember the prize pool, it is fairly large. Obviously more than the £100 for the Zotac. Either way, Archmage is very close to level 3, will probably establish himself this expansion kinda soon. He does have a couple of peasants over here. Level 3 has been gained. +2 ring and boots of speed has been picked up from the first 2 camps that he's actually cleared. Meanwhile, Lucifer, halfway to level 3, he did get himself that +9 claws of attack from this mercenary camp, and he is going to send out those skeletal warriors that he has used. He's pretty much used all his charges for his Rod Necromancy. I would assume him purchasing another one because he has the gold for it. This Acolyte is actually staying here. I believe this was just a scout Acolyte and just managed to live during the mission, and he's pretty much dead weight, I would assume. He's mainly going to be used for a construction person and nothing really else. Other than that, we are going for a graveyard transition as well as tier 2, which is pretty much expected for a Crypt Fiend orientated unit composition. Crypt Lord is still battling me though. So yeah. It looks like he did train level 1, I forgot what it was called, Spiked Carapace or something like that. It's basically a personal Thorns aura. There we go with the Impale. It is going to stop pretty much the construction until they actually get out of there. dazed effect. Lucifer says hi and runs away. Infi comments on how cool the Crypt Lord actually is being used. Not sure if Infi noticed that the TP scroll is missing, so maybe a possible surround could be happening very soon. TP staff and boots of speed has been purchased, so if he does get surrounded, which it looks very, very possible of happening, he will TP out of there. Mountain King unfortunately has not been trained up just quite yet, as Infi did go for an early expand, so he's not going to tick up anytime soon. Ogre Mauler camp is going to be cleared out, and oh, it looks like the Crypt Lord is on the move once again. He does not have a TP staff available, and he's not really doing much in his base. He is going to long distance creep right now, so that's pretty much gonna say what I just said. Oh, there's the Crypt Lord. He did, I guess, try to do something, but all he is doing is wasting mana. Impale is rather, I guess, high costly in mana. I would assume this expansion is now underway. We do have 2 arcane towers. Do we have a lumber mill? We do have one on the way, so I would assume guard towers being placed on either bases. A blacksmith is also being constructed over there in the main base, so we would be assuming, I guess, the nowadays double sanctum, maybe workshop being placed down soon. We do have a Nubian tower up and running. This slaughterhouse is probably going to be forced to be cancelled. These ghouls are rather low health, and with good reason, because there is no Death Knight available to heal up anyone. We are at tier 2, but we're not seeing a second hero for Lucifer. 1 ghoul exchange for 1 troll berserker, and it looks like this spike, the Impale coming in, stunning the majority of these units. And here we go with double mercenaries coming in from Lucifer's own mercenary camp. We will have an additional Shadow Priest as well as a Troll Berserker added to the force for Infi, and he currently has 3 concurrent water elementals, and they are level 2. Something was sold and something was purchased. TP staff has been sold. Mana potion will be used, and I'll assume spikes coming down, but it only affected these 2 elementals for, I don't know, the least of effect. I would have assumed that he would go after these guys. There we go. Nice impale right there. Health potion will be chugged as well, but Lucifer is actually taking quite a bit of damage. He does not have a second hero underway, and his slaughterhouse has been forced to be placed in the back over here. Actually, I did not realize that actually being placed down at all. But either way, Lucifer really has no way of healing up that Crypt Lord once he takes fatal damage, as Tomb of Relics has yet to be replaced. But it looks like this attack is going to be fended off for now. We don't have that many footmen out for Infi anymore, and we are going into Castle Tech, which is rather surprising. Not when, but why would he go Castle Tech so early on, I would imagine? Mountain King? No, it is going to be a Goblin Tinker. Pretty sure I saw that guy and being hired, so why did I think it was a Mountain King? Don't know. Tomb of Relics is going to be placed in the back. We do have a sacrificial pit on the sacrificial pit on the way, and we do have the first statue up, but we don't have the second one anytime soon. I would assume Lucifer transitioning into mass frost worms, which sounds kind of silly. Why would he have a sacrificial pit otherwise? Lucifer, I guess, has shown great resilience in trying to keep this base alive. Let's see how this will actually turn out now that there's the Goblin Tinker, and the Pocket Factory is still continuously popping out those clockwork goblins. Plenty of ghouls being taken out, but their corpses can still be used for the Rod of Necromancy. We will have a second Pocket Factory being placed down, and nice and pale on that Tinker, and it looks like the Crypt Fiend's not going to focus down that Tinker. He's actually going to go after the Elemental and Footmen. The Footmen do have, I believe, Defend, but he's just trying to get out of there. The Defend will not really help him as it slows him down. Crypt Lord does have a health potion. He will use it, and he will be back to about 350 health, but he is slowly being burnt once again. Level 4 on the Crypt Lord. I would imagine level 2 Spike Carapace. It does increase his natural armor as well, so that is kind of something to note. although armor is generally irrelevant in, I guess, these kind of situations, unless it is actually a unit known for its armor, like, per se, the Mountain Giant or the Siege Engine. Crypt Lord's one of those relevant heroes as well. And apparently the Crypt Lord is doing pretty nicely for Lucifer right now. Not really relying on a second or third hero. And that Crypt Lord is rather tanky. He is resisting a lot of damage, mitigating it as well with his increased armor, and he is packing a punch, which is to be expected from a strength hero. We do have a no, we don't have sources. It was just the Mud Golem. We do have Double Sanctum and the Workshop as well. +1 attacks for the Footman, but that could possibly just be considered for late game when the Knights come out. I would assume would be the reasoning behind this castle. Infi is sitting on a lot of gold. He should either invest that into mercenaries or just straight up Knights. We are going to have the flat cannons. That's not the air to ground upgrades, so I'm assuming we're just gonna have mass flying machines. I guess the flying machines are there for countering that destroyer, but you know, I don't really need to mass that many for just one single destroyer. We're gonna go into double workshop for Infi. Not sure what Infi is actually wanting to go. If he wanted anti-air, he would have placed down double Griffin aviaries, because he already has Castle Tech going, but that's not happening either. We don't have any Knights in the field. We have a level 5 Crypt Lord, which is something to actually note, because Impale will finally deal some damage. We have a Goblin Alchemist as well, so Goblin Alchemist and Tinker is available for Infi. We do also have that Archmage, who is very close to level 5 as well, considering that he has been sitting on 2 heroes for quite some time, so he's not that behind in terms of experience. Sacrificial Pit has been finished. We might see the Boneyard being placed down, who knows. We do have that Shade underway as well with that extra Acolyte. We do have a Death Knight out for Lucifer as his first hero. It is rather ironic to see Lucifer picking Death Knight second, because I've always watched Lucifer, and I guess I've always pretty much remembered him picking Death Knight first. There we go with the Death Coil to finish off a Footman right there, and he is really going after it. Rather aggressive. Yes, undead heroes still heavily rely on their abilities. We don't have that many Crypt Fiends for Lucifer, which is rather surprising. It's not like many Crypt Fiends were actually killed. He is rather just going for ghouls instead. Maybe he didn't want to go for that Boneyard. Maybe he just wanted that single Shade. Either way, Infi's expansion is still doing very well for himself. I believe he's pretty much mined about 5,000 gold, almost 5,000 gold. I guess you could argue it's pretty much 4,500, I guess. Oh, math. Terrible. Either way, there we go with the Impale, and I mean, the Murlocs are actually joining in on this fight. Crypt Lord, he's actually, wow. That was a rather actually uncommon yell I actually heard. Apparently it was the Alchemist being taken out level 1. These flying machines really have no purpose after they've taken out that single destroyer. That's, I mean, it's rather a pity that we have not seen the ground-to-air upgrades being researched. That's mortar teams apparently, so we might have mortar teams on the way as well. Goblin Alchemist is being revived, and we have +2 attacks for those footmen and possibly knights, as well as +1 armor queued up for them as well. The flying machines are pretty much just gonna act as detectors, aerial detectors at that, and the Crypt Fiends aren't really bothering with them as they do not have their web. And I believe, yeah, the flying machines still provide true sight for the human army, so that's not really a smart idea to go for Burrow. And this Crypt Fiend will be taken out. I believe that will be the final Crypt Fiend. Goblin Slinger is going to be nuked down and will be saved at the last second with a Staff of Sanctuary from the newly revived Goblin Alchemist. There is a 10-minute ward for Infi, I believe. It's 10 minute. either way, we do have another priest being taken out. We do have the acid bomb on that Crypt Lord. It is kind of like Soul Burn, but it is, I would assume, rather weaker. I guess it's a mix between Shadow Strike and Soul Burn. Actually, I might be wrong in that aspect. Infi just checking for any expansions. Usually Undead playing this unorthodox might have an expansion, but seeing as he doesn't really have that many units, he definitely does not have an expansion. And his third and final hero, Lucifer, is going to pick a Dreadlord. So he is solely going on Altar of Darkness heroes. The Dreadlord is going to be rather interesting. It possibly means that he has the Carrion Swarm as his first ability, as we do not see the Vampiric Aura at all. It might be Sleep, but I would assume that Lucifer is going for a rather unique damage, spell damage combo. So let's see how this will turn out. He might have Sleep. Sleep is basically just a good form of CC. It's rather expensive in early levels. And there we go, Chemical Rage on that Goblin Alchemist. He will do additional damage, I believe. And that's pretty much going to be that. Wow, Lucifer is still holding his ground with only a couple of units. He does have Frenzy Ghouls. A couple of Flying Machines have been taken out, and Sleep was indeed the first ability taken for the Dreadlord. Pretty much sniping most of these heroes, forcing Infi to do additional micromanagement to try and wake these guys up by attacking them. There we go, with Sacrificial Pact as well to try and save that Death Knight. However, the Death Knight cannot heal himself, so he might have to wait for another Sacrificial Death Pact. There we go, TP Scroll. Very nicely done by Lucifer, saving him at the last moment, and the Crypt Lord is now going to be focused down. But for Infi, it's not a long journey away from his own base. So there we go, another Pog Factory being placed down. Crypt Lord still rather low, especially low for Lucifer's Death Knight, but he did drink, or he does have a health potion. He will be able to use a Death Coil very soon if he does have the mana. He is getting that mana from that Obsidian statue. Will he have enough for a Death Coil, I wonder? There we go, health potion transfer apparently has been given to the Crypt Lord, and there we go, level 1 Death Coil to try and save that Crypt Lord once again. We did see the Goblin Alchemist being taken out before, so I would assume he is being revived currently. There we go, +2 armor, and mortar teams are on the way for Infi. So it's rather interesting, to be fairly honest. We have Priest, Sorceress, and Spellbreakers being queued up for Infi, so he wants to use that early economy. Goblin Tinker has been taken down, another hero being sniped. This is pretty much how Lucifer is going to play. He does have level 2 on that Dreadlord. He might have Carrion Swarm, which might have increased his nuking potential right there. And there we go with the Archmage. He is being focused down. He does have the Invulnerability Potion, however, so he will be able to survive and probably get out of there. He also has TP Scroll, so that's something to consider as well. He has multiple ways of getting out of there. Another Flying Machine being taken out. Lucifer has pretty much done a good job not relying on destroyers. These Obsidian statues are more useful in their statue form than in the destroyer form, and we just have more ghouls on the way. I don't know, Lucifer is very close to level 6 as well, so when, once the Crypt Lord gets level 6, he will have his ultimate ability, which is Carrion Swarm. I guess you can, if you play Dota, then it's basically Death Prophet's ultimate ability. Basically, locusts, I guess that's what they're called, like spawn out of the Crypt Lord and basically just deal damage around a massive area around the Crypt Lord. They are invulnerable. The only way to kill it is by killing the Crypt Lord. I don't think you can stun the process, as it is not a channeling ability. The Crypt Lord can actually keep fighting, so it is a rather strong ability, and we are very close to level 6 on the Crypt Lord as well, or in fact. There we go with another nice impale right there, level 5 on the Archmage finally, but most of his units are actually being taken out, and in fact Lucifer doesn't really have that many units. There we go with these destroyers finally being spawned. Those Flying Machines will have some targets to go after, but yeah, that's pretty much going to be it. I don't know why those destroyers actually turned up to begin with. Meat wagons being added to the army mix as well. None of the Undead heroes are actually in danger. I guess the acid bomb on the Death Lord might be something to watch out for. The flying machines finally have the air to ground upgrade, so they can finally attack against Lucifer's army, and the Dreadlord finally being taken out. At least the human player actually realizes, you know, the flying machines can do something. There we go with the Death Knight again. Well, not again, as well. Death Knight taken out, as well as the Death Lord. That is not good for Lucifer, as he solely relied on those two heroes. I think turning those statues into obsidian to destroyers was probably just to preoccupy those flying machines, as Lucifer finally realized that they have the better upgrade. +3 armor is actually finished. Infi's going straight up high upkeep. He is sitting on a lot of resources, almost, well, I guess I could say 1500, 1100. That's just way too much. The dwarvish units are 1-3. Spellbreakers and footmen and whatever is 3-3, which is rather odd to actually see a player finally going for heavy upgrades. Lucifer does not look like he's going to survive this fight anytime soon, as the mortal teams will finally be able to make the siege rather easier for him, I guess you could say. There we go with the Carrion Swarm. However, the Spellbreakers are the key problem for Infi. There's just too much things that will stay alive after the Carrion Swarm. The Crypt Lord has been sniped. There we go with the GG for Lucifer, and that is going to be game 1. A rather, I guess, unique game coming in from Lucifer, to be fairly honest. Unfortunately, Infi just proves to be better with his, I guess, standard play. Either way, that's going to be game 1. I'll see you guys in game 2, and take care.